A recent shocking study reveals that 2,000 homes in major cities have been seized and occupied by unauthorized individuals. Take a listen to this migrant with 350,000 followers on TikTok telling his audience to take over American homes, and you can essentially become the new owner. Check this out.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en U.S.A. ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla. Capichi, muchachos, aquí en U.S.A. también se aplica la de invasión de terreno. Y creo que ese será mi próximo negocio. Invadir casas abandonadas. Ya que me he buscado unos códigos con mis amigos africanos y me dijeron que ya llevan como 7 casas expropiadas. Y como dice el dicho, papi, hay que buscar la vuelta. Y la vuelta ahorita mismo es invadir casas, ya que nos encontramos en situación de calle y es la única manera que tenemos para no vivir en la calle y no ser una carga pública. Capichi, la ley dice que las casas abandonadas, deterioradas y que esté en mal estado, podemos llegar y repararlas, vivir en ellas y si podemos venderlas, hasta pedir créditos con ellas. ¿Qué dicen ustedes?
This is happening in neighborhoods just like yours, where it's getting harder and harder to tell if a house is truly empty or if it's one of these homes that have been taken over. In Atlanta alone, a surprising 1,200 homes are currently occupied by individuals known as squatters, who live in properties without official ownership or rental agreements. But Atlanta's situation is far from unique. Across the United States, this issue is becoming increasingly common, sparking nationwide conversations about home ownership, residency laws, and the broader implications for fairness in the American dream. For instance, in cities like Detroit and Los Angeles, reports indicate that nearly 3,000 and 2,500 homes, respectively, are experiencing similar challenges. Moreover, a nationwide survey suggests that at least 1 in every 500 homes is affected by squatting, highlighting the scale of this issue and its potential impact on communities and housing markets across the country. Why are squatters finding it easier to stay in these houses, and why does it seem like they have more rights than the people who own the houses? What does this mean for neighborhoods and for all of us who care about where we live? We're going to dig into these questions, looking at the rules, the money problems, and the big changes in society that are behind all of this. We're going to share real stories from people who've seen this happen, break down the facts, and ask the tough questions. Who really should have the right to live in a house? And what should we do when the rules don't seem fair? This is about more than just houses and property. It's about fairness, treating everyone equally, and trying to keep the American dream alive for everyone. Please take 2 seconds to help me out and hit the like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Each like and subscribe helps support this channel and keep us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, back to what I was saying. Whether you own your home, rent a place, or are just someone who cares about your community, this is a discussion that affects all of us. This is an important talk about our homes, our rights, and how we live together. Let's figure this out together, keeping it simple and straight to the point. Let's take a closer look at why and how people are moving into homes they don't legally own, and why it's not so easy to ask them to leave. It's all about the rules and laws that are supposed to help people who rent places to live and people who own those places, but sometimes these laws end up making things pretty complicated. All over the U.S.A., there's a thing called landlord-tenant law. These laws keep things fair between renters and the folks who own the properties, but here's where things start to get a bit messy. Sometimes these rules make it really tough for homeowners to get people out of their homes when they're living there without permission. Let's look at California as an example. In just 1 year, There have been more than 4,500 times when homeowners had trouble with people staying in their properties without the right to be there. New York has seen a lot of this too, with over 3,000 similar situations happening. This is exactly what happened to this New York homeowner, arrested for trying to reclaim her own house from squatters.
You be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are.
How about that? A squatter standoff. A property owner confronts a group of people she says moved into her $1 million home in Queens, and our cameras were rolling as dozens of officers showed up.
Several people were taken away in handcuffs, and one of those arrested may surprise you.
Yes, the poor homeowner there was arrested because she's not allowed to change the locks of her own house to lock out these squatters living there illegally because, well, that's just the law. It doesn't matter if it's her property that she pays taxes on.
She's in the process of selling it.
No, he locked it.
But she's been locked out. She claims squatters moved in on February 6th and refused to leave.
What's it like being here knowing you can't go inside of your own home?
It's enraging. It really is.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
By the time that someone does their investigation and they do their work and their job, we'll be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my home. And now she's back.
He's got no documentation.
Just bills.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
I'm being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
And where's your lease?
She's fighting the house. It's not her house anymore.
My deed is current and legal.
Arrested for unlawful eviction. She changed the locks on a man who claims he lives there.
So how does this all end then? When do you leave?
The way it ends is either she pays me my money that I put into the house, pay me the money, and I'll leave, or send me to court, and we deal with the judge in court. It's that simple.
In some places, if someone stays in a property for a certain amount of time, like 5 years, and takes care of it and pays its taxes, they can actually claim to be the new legal owners without ever having paid to buy the home. This might sound pretty surprising, but it's true. However, it's not just about hanging around for years. These people have to look after the property and keep up with the taxes to make their case. This old rule was made a long time ago to make sure land was used properly and to help sort out arguments, but nowadays, it's giving a lot of homeowners a real headache. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear about what's happening in the cities like Denver and Atlanta. The situation there is even more shocking. Denver is actually offering homeowners $2,000 to let migrants live in their properties. All these different rules and money offers are sparking a lot of talks all over the country. Let's dive deeper into what's happening in our cities across the United States, shedding light on how current policies affect the everyday lives of its citizens. Take Atlanta, for example. More than 1,000 homes are being lived in without any legal right. This isn't hidden away. It's happening in broad daylight, even in places as upscale as Beverly Hills, California. A mansion worth millions was taken over and turned into an impromptu party spot by people who just walked in. These cases are not just rare incidents. They are signs of a much bigger problem with homelessness and unauthorized living that's hitting all kinds of neighborhoods. Cities like Denver are trying to put a Band-Aid on this situation by encouraging homeowners to let migrants stay with them. And Michigan is asking its people to open up their homes to refugees. These steps bring up big questions. How long can we keep doing this? And what about the rights of the homeowners? After all, this is a country where people pay a lot in taxes, almost half of what they earn, it seems, expecting in return that their property and rights are looked after by the government. Why would someone choose to live in a place without permission? And why would homeowners invite strangers into their homes? It's a mix of needing shelter and a housing crisis that's getting worse, making affordable homes hard to find. This crisis makes us think about what home really means. For many, it's more than just a place to sleep. It's about safety, comfort, and a space filled with memories of time spent with family and friends. Hearing these stories, it's clear that cities are resorting to temporary measures such as compensating homeowners to host migrants, a solution that hardly scratches the surface of the underlying housing crisis. In Michigan, the call for locals to open their homes to refugees, while some view it as noble, sidesteps the more significant issue: American citizens who work tirelessly across multiple jobs and contribute a substantial portion of their earnings to taxes are finding their generosity and patience tested. The expectation that these hardworking individuals should now shoulder the responsibility for a housing crisis exacerbated by current policies is not only unfair, but unsustainable. These scenarios underscore a critical aspect of the legal and social debates currently unfolding. They force us to confront the reality that behind every policy and statistic, there are American citizens striving for stability and security in an increasingly uncertain world. As we navigate these discussions, it's crucial to prioritize the rights, dignity, and well-being of those who have invested their lives in building their communities and homes. It's not merely a matter of upholding laws and regulations. It's about safeguarding the values that define us, ensuring that the hard-earned contributions of Americans are respected and that our communal health and the principles we stand for are preserved. Let's take a closer look at how unauthorized living in homes is causing big waves in neighborhoods, slowly pulling apart the threads that hold communities together. A shocking rise of over 30% of people living in homes they don't legally have the right to be in has been seen in big cities over the past year. This issue is more than just a dispute over who gets to live where. It's like a punch to the gut of the neighborhood spirit. People who've poured everything they have into creating a safe space for their families are suddenly finding they have no control over their own homes. In places like California, getting your house back can drain your wallet and your spirit, costing over $5,000, not to mention the stress and damage that comes with it. This problem doesn't just hit the homeowners, it shakes up the whole neighborhood. Homes can lose a big percentage of their value, which shakes the financial foundation of the entire area. This drop in value doesn't only make houses less valuable, it also puts pressure on schools, shops, and local services, making it tough for the community to stick together and thrive. Yet, in these challenging times, the resilience and unity of communities are under strain. Consider Denver's initiative, where homeowners are compensated to house migrants, a policy that skirts the edges of generosity and obligation. This strategy, though presented as a blend of compassion and order, raises significant concerns about the implications for property rights and the autonomy of American homeowners. Navigating these complex issues presents a profound challenge to the fabric of our neighborhoods, testing the strength of our community bonds. While dialogue and collaboration are essential, solutions must prioritize the protection of homeowners and respect the rights of those who have worked hard to build and maintain their homes. The balance required here demands more than just goodwill. It necessitates mutual respect and a deep understanding of the stakes involved. Communities must unite, yes, but in a manner that ensures the safeguards of property rights and acknowledges the efforts of those who contribute to the nation's prosperity. How do we solve a problem as big and tangled as the housing crisis in America? It's like trying to untangle a giant knot that keeps getting tighter. On one hand, there are 17 million empty homes across the country. On the other, more than 500,000 people have no place to call home every night. This gap shows just how complicated our housing issues have become. For people who own homes or invest in property, the rise in unauthorized living in these empty spaces is troubling. In California, for instance, there's a law that might let someone claim ownership of a property if they live there without being challenged for 5 years. Last year alone, California saw over 4,500 such situations. This puts a lot of pressure on the balance between protecting property rights and tackling the urgent need for homes. Laws about housing and property have been around for hundreds of years, but the world has changed a lot since then. Now, with the power of the internet, people can organize and take action faster on a larger scale than ever before. This has sparked a big debate among lawmakers, government officials, and everyday folks about how to update these old rules to fit our current world without stepping on the rights of property owners. For those making the laws and policies, it's a huge challenge. They have to figure out how to honor the importance of owning property while also making sure people have places to live. This balancing act is not easy. So what's the best way to do things? That's the big question. As we dive into this discussion, it's clear there are no simple answers. But one thing is certain, talking about who gets to own property, how to make homes more affordable, and how to make sure everyone has a safe place to live is more important now than ever. How are other countries dealing with the challenges posed by unauthorized occupation of properties, and what issues are they encountering as a result? It seems that across the globe, nations are wrestling with finding the right balance between protecting property rights and addressing the needs of those without homes, with each strategy bringing its own set of complications. In the United Kingdom, the crackdown on squatting laws in 2012 was meant to give homeowners and landlords peace of mind. However, this has also spotlighted the dilemma of non-residential properties still being valuable, revealing gaps in the system that leave some areas open to squatting. This situation underscores the ongoing struggle to fully secure property rights without leaving loopholes. The Netherlands, known for its previously lenient view on squatting, took a firm stance by outlawing squatting in residential buildings in 2010. Japan's rigorous property laws and cultural emphasis on respecting ownership have made squatting extremely rare. However, this strict approach might not leave room for addressing why people squat in the first place, such as a lack of affordable housing or social support, suggesting that a purely enforcement-based strategy might overlook deeper societal needs. In Canada, the focus is on preventative measures through social support systems to address homelessness before it leads to squatting. While commendable, this approach also shines a light on the need for such measures to be comprehensive and robust enough to significantly reduce the risk of squatting, pointing to the vast resources required to tackle the root causes effectively. These global experiences reveal that while efforts to curb unauthorized property occupation aim to protect property owners, they also bring to the forefront the challenges in addressing the underlying issue of homelessness and housing insecurity. Each country's approach demonstrates the delicate act of trying to enforce property laws while also trying to provide for those in need, often encountering hurdles that necessitate a reevaluation of strategies. This reflection opens up a critical dialogue on the complexities involved in combating squatting. It points to the necessity for policies that not only safeguard property rights, but also address the societal factors contributing to unauthorized occupations, emphasizing the importance of finding solutions. Though understanding the challenges faced by these countries, we can appreciate the intricate balance required to tackle such a multifaceted issue effectively. By looking at what's worked around the world, we can find smart ways to make sure everyone has a roof over their head without stepping on the rights of people who own properties. Let's get creative and think about how everyone can help out and also benefit. Take Finland, for instance. They've got this great idea called Housing First that's all about making sure people have a stable place to live as the first step to getting their lives back on track. Imagine if we took this idea and mixed it with efforts from both the government and businesses to turn those empty houses and apartments into affordable homes. This way, owners get something out of their empty properties, and folks in need get a place to call home. Then there's Canada, where they use something called community land trusts. They keep the land under houses affordable by protecting it from being sold off to the highest bidder. If we did more of this in the U.S., we could build affordable housing that stays affordable, run by the community for the community. It's a win-win. Property values stay stable and more people get homes. Also, keeping folks in their homes is super important. New York City has a law that helps people get a lawyer if they're facing eviction. They also have laws that can help landlords if the tenant hasn't been paying rent. This has helped a lot of people stay put and kept neighborhoods stable. If this was a thing all over the country, it could help a lot of people avoid homelessness and make sure everyone's treated right and fair, including landlords. Thanks for watching, and please make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the video and watch this one as well.